mambo. Hey, samoko muroshi. Hey, samoko mambo. Hey, samoko muroshi. Hey, samoko signor. Hey, samoko chinchanja. Hey, samoko netoko. Hey, samoko tumbari. Hey, samoko mofemko noyu. Hey, samoko second Dema. Hey, samoko mambo. Hey, samoko muroshi. Hey, samoko mambo. Hey, samoko muroshi.
Thank you very much, our colleagues, our friends, our partners from the media. I'm sure almost every face is now familiar with us now. Thank you for gracing this occasion where we give you resolutions and decisions taken by the Politburo. So we call this the post-Politburo special briefing. Going to be given by the acting spokesperson of the party, Dr. Comrade Mike Dema, is flanked, of course, by the Acting National Political Commissar, Comrade P.H. Namasa, is also the Substantive Party Secretary for Finance. Comrade Namasa, you are welcome.
Thank you.
You may also need to know he's the former acting spokesperson again, so now he's acting National Political Commissioner. To my immediate right and close to the acting national spokesperson, Comrade Dema, is His Excellency. I'm sure he's the only person deserving that title after the president in this room, the ambassador to Zimbabwe's ambassador to Mozambique, Comrade Victor Matema-Danda. His Excellency, you are welcome. He's a political member as well.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much. So I will not waste much of the time. The acting spokesperson will give you a brief of the proceedings from the political session ahead of the People's National Conference. And then after him, of course, the national acting secretary of the commissariat, Comrade Namasa, will probably give us a hint in terms of the restructuring exercise, where we are with the districts after the branches were done. I'm sure that's information you can get from him, including where there are gray areas. And then, of course, His Excellency, the ambassador, will give you special remarks ahead of the 25th October, which is considered Solidarity and Sanctions Day. And from a regional perspective, the ambassador will be able to share with us, as well as probably the situation in Cabo Delgado, Comrade Ambassador. So without wasting much of the time, Comrade the acting spokesperson, Dr. Dema, the special occasion is yours to speak to our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I also want to greet you, ladies and gentlemen, and to thank you for coming. Also want to recognize the presence of our dear friend here, His Excellency Comrade Matema-Danda, who is our ambassador to the Republic of Mozambique. And I used to flank him when he also used to address the press. And also to welcome Comrade Namasa, who is our Secretary for Finance, but our acting National Political Commissar, whom I also used to flank. So I'm sure both have got some warmth to return to me. So I want to thank them. Let me start by saying that the Politburo endorsed the President's clarion call to intensify our preparations for the anti-sanctions day as we join the region and the progressive nations of the world in amplifying our voices for the unconditional removal of sanctions. These sanctions have no place in a civilized world. They are illegal and they are unjustified. The Politburo calls upon all Zimbabweans to speak with one voice. Our attention should not be dissuaded by our detractors who, through various activities and voices, have failed to gain traction. The Politburo calls upon all our party cadres to observe total discipline, unity, and peace as we move towards completion of the party restructuring exercise. All forms of violence, indiscipline, and unbecoming behavior will be dealt with swiftly and decisively. We would like to expedite outstanding elections and focus more on the modernization and industrialization of our economy, where, as a party, as said by the President time and time again, where we want to leave no one behind. We should continue to build and strengthen our party structures on the basis of the success story of the Second Republic. The Politburo received the commissariat report from the acting national political commissar, Comrade Chamisa, and that following through verification of completed sales, which is accounted for 79,185 sales, we are happy to announce that our party membership, as of now, stands at 3,959,250. And there's still a lot of work that is still being done. A number of sales that are being restructured at the moment as we move toward the exercise of establishing branches and districts. While the Politburo was satisfied with the progress so far, it called upon all provinces to emphasize, to intensify the cell mobilization and to reach or exceed the target. The party also received over 200 members who have defected from MDC as well as the ZANU-PF, all of whom have defected to the party in Kwekwe alone. Their message has been the same, that they are coming back home. Politburo directed all party structures to embrace and welcome our returning comrades with both hands and also help them to settle and contribute towards the party. The report also called upon all members of the party to register to vote and be part of the over 5 million. The national chairperson, Comrade OCZ Muchinguri Kashiri, gave a report on the party's preparedness to hold the 19th Annual People's Conference to be held in Bindura, Mashonaland Central, and also virtually in all the 10 provinces. The party is now ready, and all roads lead to Bindura under the theme Growing and Modernizing the Economy towards Vision 2030. A lot of work has been done, and the Politburo commended all the working parties in all the provinces for a job well done, and appealed to these working committees to focus, particularly in the few coming days, on fine-tuning their preparations. We are very delighted that this year's annual conference is very unique in the sense of us conducting it virtually. A demonstration that as a party, we want to move with technology and also to conform to the established protocols regarding the current pandemic. I want to thank you all for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Acting Spokesperson. Indeed, we are growing and modernizing the economy towards Vision 2030, our theme for the conference. Comrade Chamisa, it's your tenure to share with the meeting in terms of the progress on restructuring and areas where we are pending for our leadership to appreciate.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade Mugwadi, and thank you very much, Comrade Dema. Except for isolated incidents of acts of indiscipline, the restructuring has gone exceedingly well. As the acting spokesperson has pointed out, we have in excess of 79,000 cells which have been established and giving a membership of 3.9 million, in excess of 3.9 million membership. This is a very good start, seeing that our target is 5 million voters and members. We are confident as Commissary that this target will be reached and in fact exceeded. I'm looking forward to exceeding this target without any doubt. I need to point out, of course, that the integrity of our cells still have to be tested. What we have required of our party structures is that all cells, all branches and all districts must be data captured. With respect to verification, we already started with Mutare Eben, where we send teams of, in the case of Mutare Eben, we send Gutu DCC and Bikita DCC to go and do verification of cell structures in Mutare Eben. And the reports, they are still to write me a report, but the off-the-cuff reports I get is that they did exceedingly well. And in fact, they ended up establishing more cells than the official figures had given us. We also sent Chitungwiza Zone 1, DCC, to Epworth. Again, work has been done exceedingly well. And as we go forward, we are promising to deploy, after the conference, PB members and Central Committee members to the PCCs, to address PCCs and to address the DCCs, to receive any complaints about the restructuring exercise, and correct any, take any solutions that are needed where possible. My hope is that the leadership of each province will attend to 99% of any concerns which are raised in their provinces. Where they fail to the 1%, that 1% can be referred to the commissariat department. But on the whole, I'm very pleased that with the work that has been going on, and of course there have been a lot of jostling for positions as the elections are pending. That is natural. But we urge, of course, and I'm happy that in the majority of cases, again 99.9%, they've been peaceful jostling for positions, which is what we encourage. The bad incident, of course, was the Bindura incident, but that is a matter for the police. It doesn't tell a good story about police behavior, but that is for the police to investigate and satisfy themselves as to why the action was taken. As you also know, we are receiving, as the acting spokesperson has said, we are receiving many defectors from the MDC Alliance and from the NPF. We welcome them. What I just want to point out is that naturally, as they come in, the culture they are coming from is different from the ZANU-PF culture. So we have to work very hard to make sure that we become one culture, the ZANU-PF culture. And we are going to have meetings with those who are defecting so that we can make sure that they are assimilated into ZANU-PF with little difficulty. I think that's all, Comrade Mugwadi, that I'd want to add. Thank you.
Comrade Acting National Political Commissar, Comrade Chamisa, I reiterate the message is that our party structures must welcome those coming into the party, and we are all duty bound, orient them and make them assimilate to ZANU-PF culture with both hands, which is a responsibility of party structures. Thank you very much for that emphasis, Comrade National Commissar. His Excellency, Cabo Delgado, and of course, as we march towards the 25th October, the SADC Solidarity Day against the sanctions, what do we expect from your peers?
Thank you.
His Excellency.
Thank you. Well, I want first to appreciate what the acting national spokesperson has said and the acting national commissar. It tells a story that ZANU-PF is always evolving, reinvigorating, in the words of the late former President Mugabe, reinvigoration. That's what the party does. Okay. Cabo Delgado, when you come from Zimbabwe, you think there is war everywhere in Mozambique. No, it is the northmost province of Mozambique, and yes, they are Islamic insurgents, but we have been dealt with as we speak. They've been, I cannot say eliminated, because they could have, or they might be hiding somewhere, but the incidents are almost now zero. And I also want to say the government and the bigger part of Renamo have a standing agreement, but from the Renamo there was a group that broke away and wanted to continue fighting, and we accounted for the leader of that group 2 weeks ago, and the remaining members of the Renamo are coming to join government to demobilize. So peace is fast coming to Mozambique, and there are a lot of developments, and of course Mozambique is one country that had never seen peace from independence. You know, there was this Renamo insurgents, and then after it, when we thought all was going to be well, after this peace agreement, the Islamic group came, but the SADC forces, the Rwandese, the combination is dealing with them very well, and as we speak, we are on top of the situation and nothing much to worry about. Then for the SADC, Sanctions Day, it is important, and credit should go to our leader, who was able to persuade the region to take the issue of sanctions as an issue of the region, which is very critical and important. A thing that had not happened in the history of Zimbabwe, where we have our issues being taken over by the region. But yes, because it affects the whole region. But then one will be surprised to hear one of our own people saying that hakuna sanctions, when all the presidents of the SADC region, of Africa, are saying, and even Europe, there are countries that are saying, yes, they even, including America, some departments there, Britain, they are saying, yes, sanctions are affecting the growth of Zimbabwe. So we are looking forward to have, I know there are statements and speeches that are being going to be given, but it is important for us to know that it's no longer a Zimbabwe issue. It becomes a SADC and Africa issue, where we expect Malawi as the current chair to give statements. And obviously, the ambassadors are going to do the same, but there is a protocol that goes on there. It's not like just one is going to stand up and say the dean will be asked to give a statement of solidarity and asking the West to remove these illegal sanctions. So yes, no country at the moment out there can afford to ignore Zimbabwe, because the development and progress that is happening under these sanction conditions is just massive, and you cannot afford to ignore such efforts. So it's true. We expect that our people speak with one voice for the betterment of our country. Also, our people should graduate from this feeling of political opposition to the extent that people pretend they don't see problems because they think that may cause change of government. But the world is seeing, and we are happy that very soon sanctions are going to go, and they must go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Comrade Ambassador Matema Danda.
Thank you.
I'm sure the acting spokesperson and the acting national commissar have seen how suddenly people change. The voice projection of the former national commissar and now Ambassador Comrade Chinamasa has become completely a diplomatic voice. Thank you very much for that brief.
Thank you.
Our colleagues from the media, your time to probe the leadership, and this time is a very critical time on any other matters pertaining to what has been said, and of course what has not been said, which is a burning issue in your heart. Thank you very much, and we'll be taking 2 questions only, if there are any. Yes, Chief.
Yes. No, no, you could not predict his action. Basically, it was something like a misguided operation. But maybe let me emphasize that no one had wanted him to be accounted for that way. People would have appreciated to have him alive so that he was going to answer for the main crimes that he committed. But unfortunately, in fact, the president, His Excellency President News, offered amnesty, and most of his generals defected from him and came to join a government by way of being demobilized and be reintegrated into society. But he kept on resisting, and the only way was to try and capture him alive. But unfortunately, on this day, it was him and his forces who started firing. And obviously, the national forces had to defend themselves. And in the process, he was shot dead. But there was a lot of destabilization in the movement, and also acts almost of banditry that were going on. And it was no longer safe, because it was not like he wanted to achieve anything from these attacks. It was like a demonstration that he must be spoken to. He was encouraging government to ignore the agreement that they'd done with this other part of Renamo and consider him. Although he was not elected, he was defeated at the Congress, but he wanted to be recognized as the legitimate leader of Renamo. So unfortunately, he had to go that way. And the indications are that the rest who remained are now coming to join the demobilization exercise.
Yes, the discussion was around discipline. And the worst thing that happens is when acts of indiscipline are committed with impunity in full view of the party rank and file. It lowers morale, because when such bad things happen and nothing happens to the perpetrators, it's no good for the party morale. So I did ask for a mandate to, as commissariat department, to take action, because the action to acts of indiscipline must be prompt and not through the long-winded way of disciplinary proceedings, which may take years. People wanted to see that an act of indiscipline has been dealt with. So I've asked it for a mandate to, and we will refine it as we go along, subject of course to the fact that if any measure that I take to instill and restore discipline within the party, any affected person must have a right to appeal to the Politburo through the structures, starting with the DCC. You can say, no, this measure which was taken by the commissariat department was wrong. I was not treated well, and on to the province, on to the Politburo. That is the mandate I did ask. I got the power. Now, as to specific acts of indiscipline, the incidents which are quoted mainly is Mutare. But I have decided that in Mutare, I leave what happened to the police. I will not want to meddle into what happened, because the allegations of a person who is said to have come into the meeting of the PCC with a gun, and in fact that person was not even a member of the PCC. There are also allegations that some colleagues were waylaid, some at Christmas Pass, some after the toll gate, some at Ponsly, that is Shamu's place. Not our Webster Shamu. It's a different Shamu. Now, all those I think are issues that should be properly dealt with by the police. But on our part, you know, to any criminality by ZANU-PF, there is the aspect of discipline. We'll deal with the disciplinary issues which are reported to us and which we establish as factual. that is rubbish. That is, of course, rubbish. First, also, I'm being there. I recorded what I said. I've got it on my phone. It's just not here. I recorded what I said. But they've been distorting what I said. And let me repeat what I said. ZANU-PF members have a right to refuse to be addressed by Chamisa. It's our right. You cannot force yourself on us. We don't want your message which says sanctions must be intensified. We cannot come to you to listen and to hear you tell us that sanctions must be intensified, must be extended. So we have a right to say, no, we don't want to talk to you. That is our right. So you may have ideas about what to address, but we have a right to say we are not coming to your meeting. We don't want you to address us. So if you come to a growth point and you find us gathered and you start preaching to us that sanctions must be intensified and we go away, it's our right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade APC, Comrade acting spokesperson and party chef, Comrade Dema, with regard to what the National Politburo Commissar acting say over this issue.
Yeah, I'm sure he has summed it up. What we hear, some of these are stories that are made, and some of them not really. We need to verify the authenticity of such reports. But I think democracy is not an issue of people being forced to listen, but the democracy is a choice that one makes, and everyone has a democratic right as an individual in terms of what you want to hear, in terms of whom you want to follow, and I think we must respect that.
Thank you very much, Comrade spokesperson. I'm afraid of dividing the too much on this because, like they always say, Comrade, they say must always be on the correct side of caution. So I will not invite the diplomats, but assuming I was going to take it over there.
No, I think what they're saying is summed it up.
Thank you very much, Guru. We made our people conference in Politburo coming on the 27th of the 6th under the theme growing our economy towards 2010. We all been there with participation of journalists, and like I said last time, there's not going to be room for activists at the ZANU-PF conference to guide the media or journalists. And worse so those that they thought our message there, like what Comrade Chamisa was complaining about. But remember, I want you, Comrade NPC, that it was imminently coming. It is a tendency.
Yes.
And the people who do that are not so far away. They are the news day. You see, you read their headlines every day. Today they were saying, ZANU-PF wanted to assassinate you. You saw that. Those kind of activities have no place at a national conference. In fact, we go where they belong. So I just thought it was important to clarify that. We don't work that way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the meeting. We welcome you for just the activities. Thank you.
Thank you.